Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be making this top that someone sent to me, but I'm going to be turning mine into a dress. But if you want yours to be a top, you can just use a shorter length of the flare at the bottom. It doesn't matter. It's just that the length of the flare will be shorter, like a peplum top. Maybe you can use 11 or 10, but for me I'm using it in form of like a short dress. So basically the top part is going to be different, the same, sorry. So guys, all you have to do here is, it depends on you. You can use just your basic pattern bodies, basic bodice pattern for the top of it. All you have to do is just come down from your shoulder to the where you want your off shoulder to start. Maybe you want to do 5 inches, you just come down up to 5 inches and then you mark it here, and then you mark it here, and then on this same straight line you're going to just go ahead and insert from one side of your armpit to the other, right? And then maybe, let's say it's normally like, let's say 1 inch difference, right? So you come in here, right, let's say 1 inch, and then you're going to mark that to be your new armhole this way. It depends on you how you want yours to, how you want to make yours, and then you just mark your new armhole that way. If you want, you can use this particular one, and then all you have to do is just to come in here, mark your darts here, and then you're just going to go ahead and cut this part out, and this is going to be your off shoulder bodice. This is the easiest one you can use as a beginner. Just your basic bodice here, you cut this out this way. So you cut from here, go up, cut into this part here. This is now your new armhole, not this first one. Come in here and cut it out. This is now the bodice you're working with, if you want to make this particular one using this method. But I'm going to be making it using a bustier, right? And I already have a video on my channel on how to make a bustier top. So sorry, off shoulder bustier. So all you have to do, this is just for the front pattern. The back pattern is just the strappy thing that you're adding. But for the front, all you have to do is just measure your bust divided by 4 and add, let's say, extra 3 or 4 inches to it for seam allowance, which is what I've done here. And as you can see, the fabric is on a fold, right? I folded it. It's just like a plain fabric that I folded into 2 this way. And then I made sure that the width here is basically my bust divided by 4. My bust is 42. Divided by 4 is 10.5 plus extra 3 or 4 inches added to it. So that's what I have here. The next thing you're going to do is to measure where you want the top to start. So I want this top to start at 6, but I need ½ inch at the top here. So that's why it's starting here at almost as 5.5. But this ½ inch at the top is still going to be my seam allowance. So basically, once I take away this ½ inch here, my top is starting at 6. And then you see my shoulder to waist is at 17. But I have ½ inch extra here, which is going to be the ½ inch for the seam allowance at the end here. So now let me just mark it so you guys will not be confused. So I have an just know that I have ½ inch here at the top and ½ inch here at the bottom. So the next line that I have here is my shoulder to my bust line, which is your shoulder to your nipple, and then the next one is my shoulder to my under bust at 15.5, and then my shoulder to my waist at 17. So now all I have to do is just to go ahead to this point and mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus ½ inch, which is going to be 4.5 here. Remove the ½ inch on this line and mark it. So I'm going to mark 4 inches here, 4 inches here, and then connect it together. Connect this one to this one, this way. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to measure from one side of my armpit, like I always say to you guys, one side of here to the other side of here. Measure it, whatever you get. So let's say for me, now I'm working with about 14 inches. Divided by 2 is going to be 7. So guys, like I said, you can also use your shoulder measurement to calculate this. So you can do your shoulder measurement divided by 2 minus 1.5. So like my shoulder now, it's better to measure it on the person, but my shoulder is 16 divided by 2 is going to be 8. So I'm going to subtract 1.5 or just subtract 1 inch from it. You can measure it on yourself And then the next thing you're going to do now is to measure where your armhole falls in. Like my armhole normally is supposed to be at this point here at 9.5 here, somewhere here on this line. So this line is for my armhole line. Normally, like if this was the shoulder now and this was the part here, like this part was where my armhole was supposed to fall in. After removing this, it's supposed to be somewhere here. So what I'm going to do now is on this line, which is now going to be my chest line, I'm going to just minus my I'm going to put in my bust divided by 4, so which is going to be 10.5. So my bust is 42 divided by 4 is 10.5. Mark that here. And then you're just going to use a curved ruler. Guys, if you don't understand this, I'm going to link the basic tutorial. It's a very short video, just so you can get the top part, or you can use the first method. And then I'm going to just connect this part here, connect these two together. So this is now my armhole. And then the next thing you're going to do is on this curve that you've made here from this point, you're going to come in here by, let's say 2.5 or 2 inches. It depends on you. Come down 2.5 or 2 inches here. Mark a line here. And then now let's put in our bust here. So it depends on you. If you're more on the bigger side, you can use 2 inches, but this is just a simple top. I just want it to have the bustier effect, but I don't really need that. So I'm just going to do, let's say 1 inch here for darting, or 1.5. Nothing too serious, because I'm not trying to get like the bust here. So I'm just going to use 1.5 for 1 inch here, and then connect the two together. You mark that line at the waistline, mark it on your under bust line. But then when you come to this your nipple line, you're going to mark 1 inch. Come down 1 inch there, because you can't connect it directly to that point, and then give it a curve this way. From here, sorry, give it a curve like this from here to here, or you can just use your hand. Then after that, the next line I'm going to mark now is from here to the center line. That's this line that I've made here, connected to this point. And then I'm going to mark whatever I used here, I'm also going to use it on this point. So let's say I use 1.25 here. I'm going to split that same 1.25 on this side here, right? And then I'm going to connect it. But before you connect it, stop 1 inch before this point again, and then you're going to blend it into that line. This is going to be my dart, right? And then I'm also going to connect the other end of it to this the other part. And then once you've done that, on this line now, you're going to extend it by that same 1.5, because you need to extend it so that one leg of your dart is not shortened. And then I'm going to now blend it into my armhole, because this is now my new armhole line, right? So now we've finished everything. All we have to do now is just to add the basic allowances that we need. I'm going to add extra 1 inch here for this dart that I elongated here, and then I need extra 2 inches for my seam allowance. Then I'm going to just measure my waist divided by 4, which is 8.5. Mark that here. Replace this same dart that I took away from here, put it back here, and then I'm going to add 2 inches of sewing allowance, and that's basically it. All I have to do now is just to connect this point to this point here, from here to here, and then just connect from here to here, and that's basically all you have to do. So we just have to go ahead. If you want it to have like a sweetheart neckline, you can go ahead and curve it in just a little. It depends on you what you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out now. So with this here, I'm just going to use this to cut my this is what I'm going to use to cut out the back panel. So guys, you see what we cut off from this? So first, you go ahead and cut off the side right? This side here, you take it off. Cut off this center part, you take it off. Cut from the armhole, you take it off, and then cut this one, take it off. So this is all we need. And then for the neckline, you can just go ahead and just for it to look more flattering, don't let it be straight, just give it like a curve down there. So this is what we are working with. So this now is what we are going to use to cut the back panel. So all I need for this here is just this armhole part to cut my back panel. So I'm just going to take a piece of fabric, making sure that it's the same shoulder to waist as this, the same length as this one, and then I'm going to take it, place it on this here. But remember, you just have to remember that this part of this armhole, you're still going to join this together, and once you join it, it's going to reduce the size of the armhole, because you're going to still use half an inch to join it. So I might just wait until I've finished it, and then I'm going to use it to trace the back panel. So I'm going to cut it on a lining, sew it, flip it over, and use it to cut the back. So this is what we are working with here. I'm going to just cut out lining of each of them and then join it. So guys, this is it here. I've gone ahead and finished the top part. So you see, basically all I did is just to join the three parts together, the three parts on the lining, sew the top part of it, and then that's it. So this is all we need for this now. What I'm going to do is just to fold it into two this way. I folded it into two, so just to get the armhole. So guys, what I was trying to explain is for this armhole, you just need to spread out your fabric like this, like two, so that you know that you're cutting two, and then you're going to trace out the side. So basically you're going to trace out the side, the armhole, the neck part of it this way, the bottom part of it this way, and then you're going to now narrow it, like narrow it this way, if that makes sense. So basically all you're going to be tracing for the back panel is just trace out this part of it, cut out the armhole part of it, right, and then the bottom part of it like this. But then this upper part now, you're going to try from the top part of this. Let's say this is like, this is, just look at it, you will see the chalk that I'm marking here, right? This is what we traced out from the back. But instead of following this bottom part of the back and this part of it, I'm just going to take a ruler and rule it this way, because you're trying to make it into a strap, right? And then you're going to go from the top again and rule it this way. So just extend it as long as it can go. The only thing that's going to remain the same is just the back, this side of it, and then this armhole part of it. The rest of them, you're going to bring it in and extend it to make a strap. If you feel like your fabric is not enough, you can just stop anywhere you can and then make a strap, like fold your fabric into two like this, right, and then join it to the end of it, and that will be the strap, because that's what I'm going to be using now, because this part here is not actually the bodice. This is the bottom part of my clothes, because I don't have enough fabric. I'm trying to manage about 2 yards here. So basically this is what I'm using for the girder. So like the waist measurement I'm working with, like I previously said, is 34 inches, right? So 34 divided by 2. So I used one piece of this is 34 inches, and then the second one is also 34 inches of width. If you want, you can do 3 times of your waist if you want more girder, but like I said, I'm not trying to make it have a lot of girder. I just want a little girder to it, because I don't want it too puffy. So one of this piece here is going to the front, right? And then one here is going to be attached to the bottom of this one. Let me show you guys. So this here, I'm going to use it now and gather this one piece of this here. You see there are 2 pieces here. So let's say I decide to use this one. So I'm going to take it now and gather it and join it to the bottom part of this cloth, right? And then set it aside. And then for the back panel, I'm going to also take this second one, which is going to be the back panel. I'm just going to make like a casing. Cut out fabric that is like 4 inches of width, fold it into 2 like this, and make a casing for elastic band. So I'm going to join the casing, just as long as this goes, I'm going to join it and pass elastic in between, inside of it, for the casing of my, I'm using a bowed elastic. So I'm going to fold it and join it to this, so that will be the casing. So I'm going to go ahead, cut the back panel, bring everything, and show you guys how you're going to join the pieces together. So guys, you see what I was saying? You're going to join the front panel to the bottom of the one of the piece. Just gather it. Like I said, I didn't want a lot of gather on my own. Gather it. And if this was a peplum top, like the one on the thumbnail, it would have ended somewhere here. like a top, but like I said, I added more length to it just to make it a short dress. And then the next thing is that I added the second panel at the back. If I wanted a pocket by this side seam now, I would have just split it open somewhere here and then insert like a lining to make a pocket there. But as you can see, I closed it up all the way to the top here, and then I also closed up the other side all the way to the top, and then I made a band using 4 inches of fabric, like 4 inches open this way, and then I folded it this way, and then I made a band at the top of this here. So this is the band here. This is going to serve as where I'm going to pass my elastic, and this is the elastic I'm going to be using here, this one here. So you see it's like 1 inch elastic. I'm going to pass it through this together. But in the meantime, this is the back panel. Like I told you guys, the back and the front will look exactly like almost the same at the corner here, and then it's going to now narrow to the end. Like I said, I joined this end here. I joined it because my fabric was not going to be enough to go, and it was going to waste the fabric to cut that shape that I was telling you guys. So I just cut a small piece and then use this to elongate it like a band to elongate the end of the strap. So all I have to do now is just to put one on this side. You see, let me move this away. You see, I'm going to sew this on this side, on one side of this here. This is going to fall over here, and then I'm going to take this one and join it on this other side, and this is going to fall over here. So you see, it's going to look something like this when I'm done. So you see, like I said, the sides are the same. You see, the armhole is still the same for body, and then it just cuts into this shape here. So guys, but before that, this is what I'm using for my sleeve. It's just the fabric folded into two this way, and then I've also folded the edge and I made a casing at the top and the bottom. So the length I'm using here is about, it depends on you if you want it to be really big, the sleeve, if you want it to be a little bit closed up. So the length I have here is about 14 inches, using about 1 inch or 1.5 to fold in and make a casing at the top, and 1.5 to make a casing at the bottom. And then the width of this here on a fold, remember there's 2 of them on a fold, the width here is about 12 inches of width. So that's basically what I'm using as my sleeve. So now to cut open the sleeve here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this here on my sleeve this way, and then use this to draw out what the armhole would look like. So once I put this here, I'm just going to go ahead and cut open this piece here, so that it's going to be the armhole for my sleeve. So just place it properly like this, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So guys, this is it here. As you can see, I've cut this out. So now I have my sleeve. You see, this is the sleeve. So I'm basically going to take it one on each side, put elastic at the bottom, and then I'm also going to pass elastic at the top because there's a casing here. So I'm going to go ahead and join all this together. So basically, I'm going to take this here, join one side to the other, and then join the body together, close up that side. The same thing on both sides, and then I'll bring it back and show you guys how I'm going to now join the elastic to the body of this clothes. So guys, once you've joined the armhole of one side of this sleeve, and then you join one side to the front, all you have to do now is just to close it up from this side going towards the end. But before you get to that point, you see this is my back panel, and then this is the front panel here, and then this is the one from the waist. How I'm going to close it up is the one from the waist is going to be by the center, right? This band here, the band for the elastic, you see I've already closed up one side, and this is the back panel. The elastic is going to be you see the front is laying flat on this here, the center is going to be here, sorry, the back panel with the band with the elastic is going to be here, and then to close it up all is now the back panel. So all I have to do now is just to go back now and continue my stitch to the end. So once I close up this elastic, it's going to look something like this, you see. So basically how you're going to layer it as you're closing it up is the front panel first, in between the band with the elastic, and then to finally close it up is the one with the back panel. Close up everything. Like I said, if I wanted a pocket, I would have inserted a pocket with this side seam, and that's it. So I'm going to go ahead now, close it up, pass all my elastic both at the top of this sleeve here, close it up, and then you see I left this open because there's still going to be elastic at the top of my sleeve. So once I pass it, I'm going to close it up completely, and then also close it up at the other end completely this way, and then I'm going to pass elastic at the opening here and close it up completely here. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'll bring it back so you guys will see the end. So guys, this is it. As you can see, I've finished the dress. So this is the back. As you can see, you can always untie it and tie it back. This is the bottom part of it. So you see the waist, this is what it looks like here, the elastic, and then this is the upper part of it here.